Hello, and welcome back to my channel of the Ottoman Empire History series. And in today's episode, we'll be talking about Sultan Mehmed I. And in this episode, there's like three parts to it. So within the same video, so don't worry. And yeah, so it's the interregnum, which is a fight between brothers and how Sultan Mehmed became the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. Then it's the Battle of Ulubad, and then the Battle of Jamurlu, and finally the conquest of Wallachia. And yeah, let's get to it. Mehmed was born in 1386 and he died on 26th of May 1421. He was also known as Mehmed Jalebi, and if you haven't watched the last video of what happened, please do. It's about Sultan Bayezid I and why it led to the interregnum, which is the battle for the throne between brothers. And he was the fourth son of Sultan Bayezid and Devlet Hatun. So a bit before the interregnum, following the Ottoman custom, when Mehmed Çelebi reached adolescence, he was sent to govern the province of Rum as the provincial governor over the Rum Eyalat. So this is central northern Anatolia. And after this, recently conquered from its Eretnid rulers. So it was a piece of land that was recently conquered from the Eretnid tribe in northwestern Anatolia. So this is further back. So a bit of a recap about the Battle of Ankara, which happened last video. If you haven't watched that video, please go watch it because it's really exciting. So what happened is Timur Tamerlane defeated Sultan Bayezid I in the Battle of Ankara in 1402, and he took Sultan Bayezid as prisoner, as well as one of his sons, Mustafa. And this left the throne of the Ottoman Empire open to any of the four sons. Um, so Timur Tamerlane was a Turco-Mongol, and he was in charge of the Timurid Empire, and he was known as Timur Tamerlane. So the brothers, with the exception of Mustafa, who was captured, were now open to the throne, and Mehmed being saved by Bayezid Pasha, so not by his dad, but by Bayezid Pasha. He was taken to a place called Amasya, and from then, uh, Mehmed Jalebi promoted Bayezid Pasha to Grand Vizier as a token of his appreciation. So during the early reigns of the Ottoman Empire, there was no clear succession to the throne. So every son could succeed the father. Um, who? It was unknown because, um, well, for this time we know it's Sultan Mehmed I. Well, once he becomes Sultan, Mehmed Çelebi at this point. But there was no clear path of who can actually succeed the father. So, of Mehmed's brothers, the eldest was Ertuğrul, and he died in the 1400s. As for the next in line, Mustafa, he was the prisoner of Timur Tamerlane, so that leaves the rest of them to fight for the throne. So, leaving aside the younger siblings because they're underage, this left four princes to fight for the throne. So Mehmed, Suleiman, Isa, and Musa to fight over the Ottoman territories of who would become the new Sultan. And this led to the Ottoman Civil War, known as the Interregnum. So at this point, there was no clear successor for the Ottoman Empire, and they're all known as Çelebi. So Mehmed Çelebi, Suleiman Çelebi, Isa Çelebi, Musa Çelebi, because that's another word for prince. And yeah, so they fought it out in the Ottoman Interregnum Civil War. So during the early years of the interregnum, um, Mehmed Jalebi acted as Timur's vassal. So that means, everything passes through Timur, basically, who's, more or less the ruler of the Ottoman Empire because he took their Sultan. And so, because Mehmed has no power at this point because he's not Sultan. And yeah, so everything passes through Mehmed. And this led on to the first battle, the Battle of Ulubad. The Battle of Ulubad was the first battle during the Ottoman interregnum, and it was fought in the Karachabey district of Bursa, sometime between 9th of March and early May 1403. And this battle was between Sultan Bayezid I's two sons, Mehmed Çelebi and Isa Çelebi. The battle was a major victory for Mehmed Çelebi by far, and so he occupied the Ottoman capital of Bursa and became the master of the Ottomans' Anatolian domains. So Isa fled to the Byzantine capital of Constantinople, while Mehmed proceeded to formally lay claim to the succession of Bayezid by an enthronement ceremony in Bursa, and by having his father's body buried there. So by 18th of May 1403, however, Isa returned to Anatolia with an army provided by their oldest brother Suleyman Çelebi, ruler of Rumelia. Isa was again defeated and eventually killed after a series of battles by September. This is 1403, I believe. So, beside the other princes, Mehmed minted coins which Timur's name appeared as Demurhan Gurgan, alongside his own as Mehmed bin Bayezid Khan. This was probably an attempt on Mehmed's part to justify to Timur his conquest of Bursa after the Battle of Ulubad. So, after Mehmed established himself in Rum, Timur had already begun preparations for his return to Central Asia, so back near Uzbekistan, Samarkand, where his capital is, and took no further steps to interfere with the status quo in Anatolia. So now Suleiman enters the civil war. So the other surviving sons of Bayezid, Musa Çelebi, who was captured at the Battle of Ankara, was released by Timur into the custody of Yaqub of Jermian tribe. Musa was freed after Mehmed made a request for his brother's release. So following Isa's death, Suleiman crossed the straits with a large army. Initially, Suleiman was successful. He invaded Anatolia, so he did this by capturing Bursa in March 1404, I believe, and Ankara later that year. It was March 1404, not I believe. So during the stalemate in Anatolia, which lasted from 1405 to 1410, Mehmed sent Musa around the Black Sea to Thrace with a small force to attack Suleiman's territories in southeastern Europe. This maneuver soon recalled Suleiman to the Thrace, where a short but sanguinary contest between him and Musa ensued. So at first, Suleiman, had the advantage, winning the Battle of Kosmedian in 1410, but in 1411 his army defected to Musa at Edirne. So this means that Suleiman was captured, given to Musa's bodyguard, Koyun Musasi, and strangled to death on 17th of February 1411. Musa was now the ruler of the Ottoman dominions in Thrace. So, at this point, power corrupted Musa. So he was no longer working for Mehmed Çelebi, and he now wanted to be the ruler of the Ottoman dominions, especially in Thrace, where he conquered it just now. And so this led to a battle between Mehmed and Musa, another Ottoman interregnum civil war, so near the end of it. So Manuel II Paleologos, the Byzantine emperor, had been the ally of Suleiman's. Musa therefore besieged Constantinople. So Manuel called on Mehmed to protect him, and the Ottomans now garrisoned Constantinople against Musa's Ottomans of Thrace. Mehmed made several unsuccessful sallies against his brother's troops and was obliged to recross the Bosphorus to quell a revolt that had broken out in his own territories. So Musa, now with Mehmed gone, now pressed the siege of Constantinople. Mehmed returned to Thrace and obtained the assistance of Stefan Lazarevich. So if you remember, he's the ally of Sultan Bayezid, the Serbian despot. And so the armies of the rival Ottoman brothers met again on the plain of Chamurli, so today's Samarkov, Bulgaria. Hassan, the Agha slash officer, that means, of the Janissaries of Mehmed, stepped out before the ranks and tried to get the troops to change sides. Musa rushed towards Hassan and killed him, but was himself wounded by an officer who had accompanied Hassan. So Musa's Ottomans fought well, but the battle was won by Mehmed and his allies. Musa fled but was later captured and strangled. So, as you can see, being strangled is the go to way of killing the traitors. So, with Musa dead, Mehmed was the sole surviving son of the late Sultan Bayezid I and became Sultan Mehmed I officially. So, the interregnum was a striking example of the fratricide that would become common in Ottoman successions. So, brothers killing brothers, siblings killing siblings. This became a recurring theme in the Ottoman Empire. So, after winning the interregnum, Mehmed finally crowned himself as Sultan Mehmed I in the Thracian city of Edirne, which is the most northwestern part of Turkey, modern day Turkey, and he consolidated his power, made Edirne one of the dual capitals of the Ottoman Empire, the most powerful of of the two empires, um, along with the other capital of Bursa, and he conquered parts of Albania, the Jandarid Empire, and the Armenian Kingdom of Cilicia. So, as the reign of the new Sultan Mehmed I began, Mustafa Çelebi, his brother, one of the brothers who was captured by Timur Tamerlane after the Battle of Ankara in 1402, re-emerged in the Ottoman Empire. So he came back when he was hiding in Anatolia. He was first captured in Samarkand, so Uzbekistan. He traveled all the way to Anatolia, and during the interregnum, he was hiding in Anatolia. So he re-emerged, expecting Sultan Mehmed I, to partition the empire with him, and Mehmed rightfully refused, and this led to the next battle. So Sultan Mehmed refused to partition the empire with Mustafa Çelebi and met him in battle, and he easily defeated Mustafa Çelebi. And after the battle, so after Mustafa Çelebi lost the battle, he escaped to Thessaloniki, which is a Byzantine city, where Manuel II Palaiologos, who is an ally of Mehmed I, resides. So, expecting Manuel II Palaiologos to help him, Mustafa Çelebi was, insistent. And yeah, so he thought the plan would work. He would be able to camp there for now. But he was, on the order of Mehmed I, Mustafa Çelebi was exiled to the Greek island of Lemnos. So this is the North Aegean Sea. Even after this exile of Mustafa Çelebi, Mehmed had other problems that arose. So he thought that his nephew Orhan would be next in line should anything happen to Mehmed I. So he wanted to deal with that problem now. So Sultan Mehmed I allegedly thought that there was a plot to overthrow him with Orhan and Manuel II Palaiologos. So he had apparently found out about this plot of Orhan and Manuel II Palaiologos, and he had Manuel uh, blind Orhan, so as a way to punish him for treason. And blinding someone was a common practice by Byzantines at that time. So, since the Battle of Ankara and the civil wars, such as the interregnum, the population of the Ottoman Empire dwindled, and if as if anything wasn't bad enough, a religious and social movement arose, and it was led by Sheikh Bedreddin, who is a Muslim scholar, Muslim Sufi, and charismatic theologian. And this movement was started in 1359 till 1420. So this started even before the Battle of Ankara, during the reign of Sultan Bayezid I. So Sheikh Bedreddin was an eminent ulema, so scholar of Islamic doctrine and law, born in Simavna, Kyprinos, southwest of Edirne. So Mehmed's brother Musa had made Bedreddin his Qadi, so judge of the army or the supreme judge. So Bedreddin created a populist religious movement in the Ottoman Sultanate. So subversive conclusions promoting the suppression of social differences between rich and poor. So the barriers between them and between different forms of monotheism. So he successfully developed a popular social revolution and syncretism of the various religious and sects of the empire. So Bedreddin's movement began in the European side of the empire, and this stretched, towards the western Anatolian region. In 1416, Sheikh Bedreddin started his rebellion against the throne. So after a 4-year struggle, he was finally captured by Mehmed's Grand Vizier Bayezid Pasha and hanged in the city of Ceres, a city in modern-day Greece, in 1420. So the reign of Mehmed I lasted only 8 years officially, so since he became the official Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, but he was the de facto ruler of the Ottoman Empire, which means, basically, he had 11 years prior to him being crowned Sultan. He was ruling then too during the interregnum, basically, because he fought off his brothers. He was the most powerful contender for the throne. So there was really no one else to rival him for the throne before he became the actual Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. And, this stretches from the time of his father's death after the Battle of Ankara to the final battle of the interregnum between Mehmed I and Musa Çelebi. Before his death, to ensure the passing of the throne to his son Murad II, Mehmed I, as we already know, had his nephew Orhan Çelebi blinded. Orhan was the son of Suleiman, who was Mehmed I's brother, and he also had his other two sons sent to Manuel II Palaiologos as hostages to the Byzantine Empire, and this was for an ulterior motive, so to ensure the continuing captivity of his brother, only surviving brother, Mustafa Çelebi. So in order to keep him held as captive, he sent his two sons, Yusuf and Mahmud, as well as hostages. Mehmed I was buried in Bursa in a mausoleum erected by himself near the celebrated mosque which he built there with green glazed tiles, called the Green Mosque. Mehmed I completed another mosque in Bursa, started by his grandfather Murad I, but which had been neglected by Bayezid I. So Mehmed founded in his vicinity of his own green mosque and mausoleum 2 other characteristic institutions, one school and one refectory for the poor, both of which he endowed with royal munificence. Thanks for watching and making it to the end of this video, and please like, share and subscribe, and please hit the bell icon so when I upload then you'll be notified immediately. And yeah, so peace.